Accept your death.
So this morning I decided to try a game that my friends have been playing for quite some time. I think it was actually nominated for Game of the Year last year. It's called Bolaro, and it's a roguelike, apparently. And I saw that and I was like, oh, well, I've seen my friends playing it, and I like roguelike games, so I'll give it a shot because it's included with Game Pass anyway, so kind of nothing to lose there. And
You're getting a lot of mileage out of Game Pass, aren't you, this year?
I'm not missing my PlayStation at all. I think I've been on record saying it a couple times, but man, I'm a believer. I've been sold to the other side. I don't know if I'm assuming PC Game Pass isn't much different, but what do I know?
All right.
Anyways,
okay, sorry to interrupt. Go back to your
No, you're good. You're good. So I fire it up, and I knew that there was like a poker theme or something to it, and I've played poker in the past, but like super duper casually. I've never competed in it or anything, so I've just got this vision in my head of what this is like. Like you're playing as these little dudes that are like the ace of clubs or whatever, and you're going through and you're like fighting all these guys in all these dungeons. And I boot it up, and no, it's just straight up poker. Like there's just cards on a screen, but there's like different multipliers you can get. Like you get like a flush gets you like 40 points, but then you pull this Joker card that multiplies that by 4 or something, and the goal is to get 300 points. And I'm not sure why this is just so addicting, but I just sat here and played it for like the last 3 hours. Like it's just like getting those multipliers over and over and up, and it's just that those big numbers that get me. I don't know.
Yep, that's how that is how they get you, and it's a timeless game, right? Poker's been around in one form or another for a really long time and has stood like the test of time. So it sounds like, are they just like trying to modernize it? Like if it's an electronic card game, so they can do things like, what everyone's complaining when Hearthstone first started doing, introduce all these like really random elements. Like there's no way it could happen in an offline, like a real sort of like card game. They introduce stuff like that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things like that. So you can have like 5 Joker cards, and the Joker cards are like your buffs. So like if you have hearts in your flush or something, then you get 2 times the points. Or if you have even numbers in your flush, then you get 4 times the points or something like that. You can have 5 of those active. So then you turn a flush that was regularly like 50 points into like 1,200 if you have all these little Joker cards. And you have tarot cards, which I still don't really know what they do. They like turn your cards into glass, where they could get like a crazy multiplier, but then they could break and you can't use it again. So,
and you're playing against other people online, or it's against just like an AI, an algorithm?
It's just basically yourself. Like they deal you a hand, and your opponent is the amount of points you're supposed to get. So with that hand, you have 4 chances or whatever it is to get that many points, the 1,200 points or whatever it is you have to get. And then if you get that many points, you win, and you move on to the next one. Then the next one will be 2,000 points, and that's your whole goal.
So how do you lose?
2,000. You run out of hands, so you get like 4 chances, I guess, to like get to this point level. And if you don't hit it, then you lose. And then but you just start over. There's like no continuity. Like you don't seem to get anything like permanently outside of like different decks that you can try. Like I've unlocked a blue deck and a yellow deck that give you like small little buffs off the bat, but for the most part you just kind of start over fresh.
This is like our generation, the modern version of everybody. Like when you were kids, you remember going over like your grandparents' house, and everybody had one or both grandparents that like were either like really into bingo or pinochle or solitaire or 5-card draw or like something, right? That's like how they passed the time. This is what this is to you. You're going to be an old man with your pants pulled up above your navel,
just playing this game.
Yeah.
What you playing there, Grandpa? I'm playing Bolaro.
I got 3 Jokers. Take that.
Kids these days wouldn't know about the intensity of Bolaro.
All right, Grandpa. Let's get you to bed.
Oh, good times. But you know who's not going to bed? Is the commenters, because they're here for it every week. They leave the comments, and we read them, and they want to be awake when we read them. So let's get into them here. So first one, we got Hero Playa says, my truck has custom paint job. I call her Naranjas in Spanish, means oranges. That's cool. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone naming their truck after a fruit. That's pretty neat.
This is your this is in response to you naming inanimate things.
Yeah,
last week.
naming my vehicle. I wasn't sure if you had named your vehicle. For those that don't know, Hater drives a 1995 Buick Enclave.
That's not true.
But yeah, no, I mean, oranges, that's cool. You should post a picture of your truck in the Discord there. Here, play. I can see it a little bit in your thumbnail here, but we'll get a better angle on it. But yeah.
Yeah, say that word for me again there, Dink.
Naranjas?
That's your Spanish.
Naranjas? Because I know that the J makes like a Y sound.
Makes an H sound.
Like it makes an H sound.
Well, the H is silence, right? Like in Ola, but the J's are H's, are H sounds, English H sounds, like Julio, Jose, right? Those are spelled with J's.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because I see like sometimes people will write out like the laughing, like the J-A over, like haha. That makes sense.
Yep. Or yes in German. Ja.
Yeah, 9.
Theirs is a Y, right?
Oh, maybe that's why I'm
anyway, so let's try this again.
Naranjas? Is that Daniel Naranjas?
That sounds better.
Better?
I think that second N was missing the first couple attempts.
All right, I'm gonna put that I'm fluent in Spanish on my resume now.
Yep, it's Spanish and French.
Spanish and French, yeah. Oui. Excuse me, I'm gonna go take a wicked yes. Okay. Anyways, moving on here. Lucas_K says, "No more Quan. Welcome to the late Dink. Have fun." And I will say, we were questioning my character crisis a little bit last week. I'm enjoying my Li Mei. It's getting a little bit tougher because now I'm getting to like the demigod tier. So now I'm starting to fight more meta stuff, and I'm starting to kind of see kind of where she struggles. But it's not like I felt in the past with characters where it's just like a brick wall and I don't really know what to do to get past that.
You can see, even if it's just a pin light, right, at the end of the tunnel, it's just a matter of like you're thinking to yourself, it's just a matter of experience, right? It's still technically a new character, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward because characters aren't overly complicated, but like all those situational things you learn about your character when you put in hours and hours and hours, right? So if you feel like that's kind of like what's missing, plus what you just kind of expect from the meta. Is that kind of like where you are?
Yeah, kind of. Like it's like I know, like at my combos, I got my combos down. I've got my pressure down. I've kind of understand how someone's going to fight her if they know the matchup, and how they're going to fight her if they don't know the matchup. Because yeah, there's like so many people that they don't understand how plus she is on some things, and then I just get free combos because they're trying to press on +6, and it's like,
yeah. So what do you do to people that obviously don't know the matchup?
Like the most like out of pocket stuff you could think of. Like I'll do like 214. That's a big knowledge check because there's a huge gap between the last hit, but if you block it, +6. So then you could get a 6 frame back 2, which is her mid, and then back 2-4 is her safe on block launcher. And I don't think anyone's ducked the high portion of that at all, like at any level of Combat League. They'll just rather block it and take their turn back. But, you know, so that will +6 will jail you into a 6 frame launcher, which will get them if they try and do anything. It's pretty abnormal. And then the back 3-3. So obviously back 3, I think, is +3 on block. Then there's a gap. Then, sorry, back 3-4. Then the 4 is +4, I think, on block. And then you can also special cancel it. So with Shujinko, it's like, do I just stop at the plus frames? Do I pull Shujinko mid out after that to do like some extra staggers? Like, she's really fun once you get into it. And then she's more fun, obviously, if people don't know the matchup. But I mean, you know, that's a pretty obvious thing to say, I think. But
so, like, what character would you put in? You were saying earlier, right now that you're starting to play some more like meta. Are you like T1000 Homelander stuff? Is that where you feel like you're struggling with personally, or?
Yeah, like her neutral is definitely like her weak point. Because like characters like Havoc, Homelander, stuff like that just kind of outrange her, and she kind of just has troubles like really closing that gap. They have better ranged moves because again, she is kind of stubby, but I do have to get better at doing those instant air flipping heel kicks or whatever, especially the enhanced one, because that's like a get in free kind of a move, because yeah, it's -6 on block. They can up block it, but if you do it pretty instant, it would be very, very hard to do. So that's something I'm currently working on trying to perfect, master, as you say.
I love establishing that up block game though. Like you get up blocked, it's like okay, so I'll eat my combo, and then that just opens up the empty jump sort of stuff, and then they know you know like sort of thing, and it's like a little mini mix up every time you're in the air.
Yeah, usually it's me that's making that mix up because I am like famous for just overusing the up block. Just like I swear my anti-airs have gotten worse because I've just been relying on up block more than I used to actually anti-air in previous games. So I'm trying to be more self-aware of that.
I do feel like I get a lot of empty jump throws against you when we've played, historically.
Yep. I'm definitely an up block happy person, which is my demise a lot of the times, especially against characters with really good grab attacks. So like Reiko or something like that. Reiko especially, he fucks me up. I just can't help myself, I gotta up block, and then boop, he just got Madame Bo into some big combo or something like that, and it's
right.
Extra damage. Hurts my feelings, but we'll keep you updated on my Lee May adventure. I'm just glad I'm able to play her and enjoy her in this game after how sad I was about her initially. Cano says, I like how NRS listened to the community when they were giving Trevor some buffs, but maybe it was a bit much to buff most of his moveset and then give him really quick cooldowns on top of that. If they reverse the cooldowns and maybe his ability to body block, it'd make him fair but still strong, in my opinion. So, yes, definitely agree with that. From that statement, we can go and say that NRS said they have some exciting balance changes coming after Evo. I'll put the tweet on the screen here for anyone that's listening.
Did they say balance changes, or did they just say changes?
I think they said balance changes. I wish I had the tweet in front of me. Either way, a patch is coming after Evo, which is next weekend. So I have very, very small wish list for this patch. There's 4 things that I think they need to address, and if nothing else, and these 4 changes, then I'll be happy. They need to tone down Cyrax, the character, not the cameo. Tone down Tremor, buff Quan, and buff Frost. I think if you change those 4 things, the game will be in a great place. I think that they're just, those are the things that, like, I think when I think of buffing Quan, and like I've said this numerous times, I think he needs like a rework, like I feel like buffing him with the armor portal would be probably a little bit too much. So I need to kind of rework how they think of the armor portal, and then maybe give him something else. And then I don't really know what you would do for Frost at this point. They've really been trying, but she needs something. There's no incentive to use her currently that other cameos aren't doing. But every game has their characters. They're just dead in the water at the end of the game. So
she's a fun flavor character. Like if you care about fun factor more than winning, I guess. She's like one of those cameos. But they did, not to get hung up on this point, they did not say balance changes. They said exciting changes. And the only reason I want to make that distinction is because I think, I don't know, I don't have any proof or whatever, right? But I think they might be like finally putting rooms in or doing something like it's a more like broad change, not like necessarily character changes. Though I do expect that as well.
The reason that I would not think that would be the case is they kind of said that there's like no new content coming to the game, and I'm not sure if I would consider rooms like new content, right? Like it's something new that they're adding, but
then they added the Tanya, Melina, and Katana skin. But that stuff was obviously already done, right? But this new season, that's like new content that they've put into the game after they said no new content.
Well, that's true.
But
That is true.
it must have just already been ready. But they've got, maybe it's something there. Who even knows? But did you see some of the takes about this? What people have been asking for?
No, I didn't go down the thread at all. I don't know if people are being a little bit too.
Tekken Master's already kind of. I see him getting memed on in the Tekken community all the time, like from his
Really?
takes on characters and what he thinks would be good balance and stuff. And so he commented on this or retweeted it or something and said, "Yeah, Baraka's install. He shouldn't take any damage over time, and he should be able to cancel his strings like Melina can cancel her strings." And it's like, okay, so you want 100% of the drawbacks to be taken away and then for it just to get buffed in the opposite direction as well. You just don't want it to, okay.
Yeah,
But
I don't know about that. I think his install is fine as it is. I still don't really see it used much. I don't really know what you could do to combat that, but maybe less damage taken away. I have no idea.
I don't even know how much it does. Because doesn't it have like a consistent damage over time? And does he take little chunks of damage, or does that increase when he does things like his 2-in-1 cancels?
It's like dot damage, I think, but I think it's like 100 damage total, which is actually quite a lot if you're thinking you have to be under 300 most of the time to even get it.
Yep.
So I remember the first week that move came out, I saw more clips of people killing themselves than I did of people actually doing cool stuff with it.
It's pretty funny. And Melina's has the stagger at the end, so you can try to set that up, but it's pretty long. And I don't know, I haven't seen too much crazy stuff with it. Would you rather have a damage over time, or would you rather have to be like you're in stun, you can't block, you can't move, or whatever for 60 whatever frames it is?
Well, I think it's a bit of a trade-off there, because like Baraka's, when he has like his special cancels, there's not really anything there that helps him open you up a little bit more. It's more of maybe more like chip damage or that kind of a thing. Whereas Melina can get some pretty disgusting mix going on there. So you're kind of like blocking for your life for like, if you could block it all for like however long it lasts, and then you get that big reward at the end of that big combo. But depending on the Kameo, like Melina Lau, it's kind of scary when you have low hat to think about all her regular strings and then it cancels on top of that into the size, and like, whereas Baraka doesn't really have that. I feel he's pretty basic.
He can go from like a projectile to chop, right? That was like what they showcased in the change that NRS put together, like the little trailer thing. They showed him doing that, or it was like in one of the matches after the combat cast or something. Is this the first time I ever saw that? But yeah, I agree. Melina probably has it a bit better overall.
Yeah, and it's an interesting tool for her on top of all the other stuff that she has. So I don't know if those are going to be things that they end up balancing. I don't really know what to expect from them here, whether it'll be kind of a big one or a small one or that kind of a thing. But it is exciting to know that something is on the horizon. Changes are there. And then there was also the secondary tweet from Ed Boon replying to Super, saying it's highly unlikely that this will be the last patch. So that's interesting to me.
Yep, I did see that. And it goes back to, remember they said, when they said they weren't going to make any new content for the game, but to be expecting future bounce patches. And they use plural, right? And so everyone's expecting more than one. So I think this is the first. I think this will be the first one, and then they might do like some hot fixes. I feel like they always do hot fixes after patches, especially when they make bigger changes, because scaling gets messed up somewhere or created some new situation. Something was doing too much damage, whatever. And then I think the same thing will happen right after Final Combat, and then I think it's done. That's my prediction. I feel like Final Combat is like the finish line for them.
Yeah, and that would make a lot of sense. And I mean, at that point, you're at the 2-year mark, just over the 2-year mark of the game's release, which will be quite a bit longer than they supported any game, but probably a little bit under what they initially said they were going to do. But again, it could be one of those like shitty little technical things that they do that, well, we're going to be supporting this game for years to come. And like 2 years is technically years. So like,
right.
But it's
Yeah, they just gotta. We talked about that before, right? They just gotta stop saying shit like that. They have to stop trying to sell the game in that way. Because I'm sure that was their full intention at the time, but it's just not the way the cookie crumbles, so they say, you know.
yep,
So just focus on other things, please, to sell your next game. Different
yeah,
talking points.
yeah, not the length of support that you're gonna get, because kind of hard to swallow that at this point. But there's so many takeaways that I hope that they get from this game, and I hope that the next game. I'm almost tempted to try MK11 again, just to go into it and see like what that game looks like, because I haven't even. The last game I opened up was MKX, and that game I never really explore much. I just kind of go in, I'll do some combos, maybe make a video or something, then uninstall. But MK11 would be interesting to explore as like the true predecessor to MK1, and just see if there's anything else that sticks out to me that's missing. That the current iteration of MK1 doesn't have, kind of idea.
Like as far as what now?
Well,
Like, give me an example.
Like just the rooms for one thing, and like when I think of rooms, like not even not having rooms, but also the inclusion of crossplay specific rooms. Like even though that game I don't believe had full crossplay, it's just having
Only in crossplay. It was only crossplay rooms. It was only crossplay with PlayStation and Xbox, I'm pretty sure. And it was in beta the whole time. They called it a beta.
that beta
left.
never got out of there. So then maybe the alpha was MK1. I have no idea. Which they had all sorts of server problems for. I remember that big uproar about let Africa play online. They couldn't connect to anybody and all that kind of stuff.
I think that's still going on. Or some regions got fixed, and others it's still pretty bad. I see that come up on the timeline from time to time.
Interesting. I haven't seen it in a while, but I haven't been paying that much attention. So maybe it's out there, maybe it isn't. But I know little things like, what does the Towers of Time look like in that game as opposed to MK1? I'm having a hard time remembering it. I remember they were on like little islands, like pop up and stuff, but you got like gear and stuff from them. Whereas like in MK1, you get like invasion power ups and stuff, which is kind of meh in my opinion. But like,
I agree. There's not much incentive to play the single player side of it, because the only thing that makes invasions, and I'm sorry, I'm not just trying to like dump on it, and because it's like such an easy target. We've talked about it like several times, right? But because I just went through it all again to get that Melina skin, and I was like, this just feels like such a chore, right? Like, okay, yes, I'm literally playing the game, but it like makes me resentful. Like, it doesn't make me be like, fuck yeah, Mortal Kombat. It's just so you can kind of see like where they were going. I just don't think they had the time or the play testing, and it's just like so monotonous and so samey so fast. That's how the regular towers and stuff are too. And I remember grinding for all the gear in Injustice 2, the legendaries and stuff, and it's like, how do you turn just a fight against a bot? Like, how do you make that interesting? And they always turn to like modifiers, which just makes it like way worse. Like, it makes the experience way more annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of the modifiers or whatever. The one thing I did like was the Floyd towers, because fighting those, it was just like you versus the AI, and the AI was like a pretty intelligent opponent, and that felt really fun. Felt like playing an online game against a human or something, so it was like, that was really fun. I wish they'd take more incentive from that.
Invasions, all you need is a frame trap, and then you're just going through the motions. You spend less time in the match than you do waiting for the match to load, because they're just doing whatever. And for some reason, it still has the secret fights, right? If you end certain fights, like say like with a brutality or whatever the hidden requirement is, I don't know if that was ever figured out, but you get like the secret fight like in the old days, and it's supposed to be the special thing.
Right.
But all it is are these invasion matchups and stuff that we see all the time from the ambushes, and they're in regular nodes and stuff now. So it just feels like, okay, I'm already in here trying to grind through like the whole thing, and just like it's going as long as possible. And I already have to get to the last mesa to get to my Melina skin. And I'm looking at the map on Combat Cup, and it's at the very end. And I
Of
start
course.
grinding my way up there, and I was like, "Oh, it's behind the whole time." I was like, "Well, the saving grace is I have to go through most of it, but I don't have to deal with like the Raiden boss or anything like that." But nope, it's behind the gate that requires the key, so I have to go kill Raiden. And I do that, and I go back, and then it's like, okay, a fighting node. Oh, now I've got a mandatory tower I need to get past. And I was like, holy shit! Like I thought this was going to be over like a half an hour ago,
Yeah,
but
and
that's
grinding
what I
away.
get for thinking.
I don't think I've even gotten to Raiden yet. It's been a slow grind for me. There wasn't really much there was a Quan skin I got fairly early on, but other than that, I saw that there's a Quan skin in the Towers of Time, so I was grinding that a little bit. But yeah, to go through all the nodes and stuff. But I wanted to pick up on what you're saying about the secret fight, because it doesn't. It's more annoying to me than it is like exciting. It's just like you said. It's just like, oh, here's an extra fight that I really didn't want to do. I'm just trying to get through this. And again, it's with another character, that fucking Baldosh or some shit, or like Cyber Smoke.
Baldosh or Pompadour Baraka.
Pompadour Baraka, yeah. So it's like, if it was something that like wasn't in any other nodes, or you only saw in the secret fight, that would be a lot more engaging, I feel. But it's just more annoying than anything. And I still don't know what I do to trigger those things, but same with the ambushes. When you just walk around the map, I'm glad they're not like every 6 seconds like they used to be when the game first started. But
it used to be. I remember being in a Discord call. Rex was in there, and he was getting so mad. Like every time he tried to move, he was getting ambushed. He was so salty.
How did they think that was going to be a fun idea? I really don't know.
I think it's a consequence of maybe not a solid foundational idea. It does sound like a cool idea, but another victim of like the timeline and stuff like that, and they had to fix it a lot like as they went. But it becomes like, man, it just put such a bad taste in my mouth that like every combat cast where Derek gives like the invasions update, I was like, oh my god, I do not give a fuck. Like I could not care less. Like this is like birthday shout outs to me, right? Like, can we just get beyond this? Like sitting here just waiting for news, pining for news, and we're talking about fucking invasion modifiers or, the damage negation stuff in there. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, I wonder how many people were actually like asking them for that information. Like if Derek was getting spammed with like, what's the next season of Invasions looking like? And like who's asking for that? And it's like my question, because I don't see it, but I'm also not looking. So I mean, be a huge casual crowd out there. We love Invasions, best mode ever.
Yeah, you're not really on the big casual side of thing, because if you followed it on Reddit, and I don't, but I have before, like Injustice 2 and stuff, I was on Reddit, and I feel like that's a really like Reddit and Facebook, I think is probably more of a mix, but I'm not on Facebook either. But just what I hear, it just seems to be the general, how Facebook's just for old people and stuff anyways. It's kind of like a meme. Like if you're a hip youngster, you're definitely not using Facebook for all your shit posting and stuff, right? Like how it used to be. So same sort of thing, only like Reddit's like the big casual sort of thing, the casual voice. So if you ever want to see what they're asking about or complaining about or bragging about or whatever, it's definitely a different world.
There used to be a time when if you didn't have Facebook, that was a red flag. Like, oh, that person doesn't have Facebook? That's a little weird, And now it's like, oh, you have Facebook, you fucking boomer? Like, okay. Oh, times have changed, man. Reddit's one I don't use a lot. I used to post my videos there during the Injustice 2 days, and I got a lot of positive feedback. And then when MK11 came out, they changed that, and they're like, no self-promotions. I'm like, okay, I guess I have zero reason to come here now.
So yeah, they do that to prevent people from only going there to post videos, right? Because it's not like an advertising depot and stuff like that. So they allow it for like community members, like active posters and things like that can do things like that.
Right.
But you can't just pop in every once in a while just to announce that you've got a video and then dip, like not engaging in any other fashion. I feel like they're really stringent about it. And it's not just, that channel, like most Reddit threads are that way.
Yeah, I mean, it would get annoying if every little, 10 subscriber YouTube channel, hey, check out my new video, and I'll post it in there, and it would just get like spammed up real quick, I would imagine. Right. So I get it. I think the mods at the time were just fans of mine, and I got away with it. or maybe because I was posting videos that were like more educational videos, that kind of a thing. But who knows? Maybe the world's a better place now. I should go back to those Reddits. I haven't been to Reddit in a long time. I know a lot of people use it for a lot of different things, but I just have not checked it out, really. Just hasn't been my jam. But if that's where the casual crowd's hanging out, maybe I need to go over there and see what they're saying. Because I find that,
I
like,
tell you, man, it's you can content farm over there. I know there's a Street Fighter streamer I see do that, right? And he, new YouTube video, and he's like, all right, time to, content farm Reddit. And he goes through and tries to find a thread that looks like people that want to get better, but there's something that's like fundamentally missing from either their frame of mind or their game plan, like system mechanics, like whatever it could be, right? Like how you would coach like somebody that's kind of like plateaued to get them to like the next level. He goes
right.
through and you find stuff like that, and then it's like, oh well, in my opinion, right, this is actually a good topic, and turn it to a video.
I find that, like, the casual crowd has a absolutely insane view on like top tiers and bottom tiers. Like, it's, hearing some of the things that they're having problems with is completely different than someone who plays the game kind of more on the competitive side of it, which just totally makes sense, because there's skills that they don't have, that they don't know how to deal with. But it's always interesting for me to be like, oh, please nerf Quan Chi. He's so bad. He's so hard to fight against. He takes no skill, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just really curious what these Quan Chis look like that they're fighting. Like, what are they doing?
Well, and it's like, what you don't have a fully developed tool set, or like know the frame data, like not necessarily like in and out, but through matchup experience, you've labbed like a couple things, labbed your options and stuff. And not everybody plays that way, and they don't think it's worth like, the time investment. But you think about like you're starting, you just play like with the homies and stuff. But even like when they play Quan Chi, but it's like, how many anti-airs are you hitting out of how many times they went in the air, or you had an opportunity to anti-air? Like those sorts of things that are like missing, and like key punishes are not optimizing your damage, right? Like instead of punishing, you just were mashing your poke, and now you've got 7 hit advantage instead of 430 damage or whatever. Make life harder on themselves that way without realizing it. So I think that does totally change the meta. Like if you're not doing counterplay to things.
Yeah, you don't even know. Like, how can you counter if you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing, right? So some of it could be invasion stuff too, right? Like, I know that like certain characters, if their special is super high, it makes their kind of hard to fight against if you have a lower defense, or I don't know. I don't pay much attention to the stats. I just know that like with Quan, if I'm going through invasions, I want to put a lot into special because I'll use a lot of special moves. But like when I was playing with Conan, I put it all into strength or whatever, because why hit you?
Attack.
Attack, yeah. So it could be something on that front, that their stats are maybe all weird out. It just intrigues me to see how like everybody can be playing the same game but just have such a different experience. And I think that's part of what makes fighting games pretty cool. But I don't know.
Yeah, the people that take it as seriously we do, and like more seriously, right, more competitive, that is like a fraction of 1% of total player base.
Yeah, that's always a statistic that comes up when we kind of talk about balance, right? Like, we are not the majority of the people playing the game. So like, we got to remember that when we're asking for balance changes and designs and special moves and all these kind of things, that the casuals are the ones that are playing. The ones that are playing more, the ones that'll only buy it because it's on sale and check it out on their couch.
And I do think if they're forced to make a choice, whether appeasing one or the other, the obvious choice is the casual fan base, whatever's going to benefit, the majority.
Yeah, and they're probably the ones that are more, well, maybe not, but I was going to say maybe like more willing to make purchases on the store and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm pretty diehard. You give me a cool looking skin, I gotta have it. I'm.
Dude, that's how I feel. I just went through that whole invasion slog to get that Melina skin that I'll probably never use because I still like the Hannibal one the best. But I like to have options,
Yeah, I'm a bit of a collector in that I just gotta have all of it. If it's there, I gotta have it. I just have to have my options open.
Yeah, the Tanya one I wanted to, so I snagged that while I was up there. And did I say Tanya or Katana? I meant to say Tanya.
You did say Tanya.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I'll see somebody playing my character, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. I would want to try that out and see what what I think of that. I'll rock that for a bit.
Yeah,
So
I do that too. Like, oh, like happens to me a lot in Street Fighter. You're watching a tournament or something. It's like, oh man, I never really appreciated the purple version of that costume before, and
right,
go rock it for a while.
yeah. Speaking of Street Fighter and fighting games in general, Evo is next weekend. That came up
Yep.
pretty fast, so that should be interesting to see. Pretty much like there's a lot of big names in that bracket, so I don't really have a pick on who I think is going to take it. I should be. I was sad when I heard that Connie Monty wasn't able to make it out. Kind of rooting for him this season, hoping that can pull it out. At Final
Did
Combat.
he not qualify for Final Combat? He's in Final Combat, isn't he?
I think he is, and that's why he opted not to go to Evo. Question mark. I mean, that's a long trip for him, and if he already have to go across for Final Combat too, like kind of like a month
just
apart.
A couple months.
I totally get that. Then you see Gurr's been doing the world tour, just hitting up everything. So
I know
that's kind of the opposite side of that spectrum, but it'll be cool. I'm excited for Final Combat. I'm seeing all like the names and stuff of everyone who's qualified, and we're still not like all the way there yet. When we get that, that'll be a fun podcast to go over the list of everyone that's kind of made it. There will probably be one left that we won't get to go over for the final qualifier or whatever, because that usually happens like right before. But wild card's always exciting too.
I know Dialog's going to be there, and I know he's right on the edge of like qualifying. I'd like to see him in Final Combat for sure, and I think he'll go to LCQ and try for that spot if he can't get it at Evo.
That LCQ has got to be one of the sweatiest tournaments ever. Just like so many people, so many people so close to qualifying, or just, oh man, some of the best matches too. Though almost like it was almost a more fun tournament to watch last year than Final Combat, just because of like how sweaty and how much was on the line, and only one spot matters. Second place doesn't matter at last chance qualifier. So kind of the incentive there, the carrot, as you will.
Yeah, and as soon as you go through the stress of winning that whole thing, you got to do a whole nother bracket, the actual Final Combat.
Yeah, yeah. I think who won the last chance qualifier last year? Was it Guy Exceptional? I think just to go out in the staging pools of Final Combat. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
Fortunately, that's kind of like where the odds are. If you're just sneaking your way into the tournament, you're probably going to be kind of on that lower end, which means...
And just mentally taxed from what you just went through to even qualify,
Yeah. Yeah. What a feeling, right? Just like on top of the world, like I just won a last chance qualifier, and then just boom, right out in staging pools. Like, it's like placing 9th at a tournament. One of the... It's like a good feeling that you made it that far, but like you're just that far away from top 8, or I guess in Evo's case, top 6. They do that now so they can put more ads in. And that whole tournament experience last year was quite the negative experience for me at Evo. I
can't even tell you the last time I've watched a source stream, like online circuits and stuff, right? So like Coliseum and Rips and all that stuff, fine. But CEO, Blink Respawn that just happened, like I just find somebody that I like that's restreaming it and let them fill up the downtime. Like when things are being advertised, there's no games like being on, and then they're just doing their thing, sitting in practice mode, or they're having a discussion about whatever. So I'm like exclusively just watching restreams these days because of that format.
Yeah, it's a little bit more.
It's better.
Yeah, more engaging and whatnot. So I'm surprised that they allow restreams, but I guess it's exposure for them one way or another, right? So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do for Evo this year, because I'm off on the weekend, so I can maybe watch in the Discord, or I might do a restream. I don't usually do restreams, but that's because I'm not usually around when the tournaments are happening. I'm usually always working, and then if I'm not, by the off chance, I'll just hang out in the Discord with whoever's there, and we watch it like we did for Blink. A little bit.
Yeah, private Discord. You couldn't do that on Twitch without their their permission.
Right. They got to be careful about that kind of stuff, but I don't know.
You got to ask. It's good form to ask, right? And a lot of times there's an application for it, and they might have like stipulations.
Yeah, and there's lots of events that encourage that type of thing too, like restreams are encouraged or whatever. Just I think Coliseum does that, so just more exposure and that kind of a thing. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens at Evo this year. Somebody new face wins it, but it's all the points for the final combat always shakes things up a little bit. So there was another one happening today called S Factor, I think. And I watched a little bit of the pools yesterday. A lot of Baraka, quite a bit of Baraka. I'm not really sure if that's just the meta. This is happening in Mexico. I'm just pulling up the top 8 right now. So currently,
Baraka's really popular outside of North America, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I still see like, it's just a super basic character. You know, he hasn't changed too much since the day one. He does really good whiff punishing. I see when I do see him at a high level, really using his buttons that I'm not really used to seeing whiff punish, but it's cool to see. So the top 8 in this event hasn't happened yet. But you have Snake Doe versus Yakuza Knight, Osvaldo Diaz 99 versus Illuminati, and then in losers it's Vitas versus QB and Mazapan versus the Abracadaver. So I'm not familiar with many of these people outside of Snake Doe and Osvaldo Diaz. I've played in Combat League a couple times.
I love that name, Abracadaver.
Abracadaver.
I should have not. Mexico is NA, right? I should have said US, Canada. But yeah, Mexico and further south, I feel like Baraka is super, super popular.
Good old Baraka Kano, man. It's like the only team I ever see with Kano. I wonder if that cameo is going to change at all. Like, he's effective in what he does, and I feel like he's balanced, but he's just not very exciting. It's just nothing too flashy with him, you know?
I kind of wish that's how all cameos were, you know? Like, if everybody was like that Serena, Frost, like, sort of level, to where ambushes weren't doing a lot of the same things and being a big part of, like, combo structure and things like that, but more like utility, like the blessing and curses and wall, you know, things like that. I think, I don't know, that might make the game too boring. People want more of them to go in the opposite direction than what I just said. But I was just messing around with Frost while I was doing all the invasion stuff, and I was like, you know, it's like chilling in the pool. I'm just relaxing, right? I'm not looking to play water polo or you know,
just chilling in the pool.
Just chilling. I'm just trying to have a good time, man.
You think that you think you'd see Frost if Frost received no more changes? Do you think you'd see her more if the top cameos were brought down?
I mean, it feels like a lot of people just want Orb to be more accessible. Seems to be the most common complaint, or to speed up that low. I don't think they're going to, and it's hard. Like when you have a ambush that's a summons and it's slow, I mean, there's still travel time. So even if you have a hard time reacting to something, say that's like 25 or 26 frames, you also have like all these visual cues, like Scorpion's overhead and Frost's ice carpet and stuff. And you can, I feel like it's easier to react to the image, you know, rather than trying to like fuzzy some sort of overhead low sort of thing. So, you know, after a few matches, I feel like just 100% of people just start blocking it, and people want it to be used as a mix-up tool. And I don't know if I necessarily agree or disagree with that, but that would be, you know, another change if that was like an actual real threat, because it's death on block, right? It'd be one of those high risk, high reward sort of things.
Right. Yeah, it's you think it's just like, is there any change you think you could make to Frost at this point that would make her like more viable?
I like Frost. I can't think out. trying to think outside the box and how she fits into like other teams. I don't think I know enough characters like more. Not everybody gets really good access to a Frost Orb, and I feel like the characters that do get good access to like Frost Orb setups and stuff just have better cameos overall. Like that's
Right.
great. I can do this for a Frost Orb, but I can go do something else with Movado or Farah or whatever, and not have to spend a bar or I the cooldown's better, whatever it is. So I don't know. I think it's just one of those. Like I said earlier, right? She's just more of like a flavor cameo, and you can put in work with her and stuff, right? But I just don't think that she can keep up with some of the stronger cameos. But that's a lot of cameos, right? The majority of the cameo roster can't keep up with the top handful, like the Tremors and the Movados and.
Yeah, they're just too good. They're just they just do too much for so little that it's like, why even use another cameo? So I hope that I think if you brought down Tremor and Movado, we would see a lot more cameo variety in general, because you can choose the cameo that you want just because it's a different kind of flavor, right? Just it's because you're not giving up that much by picking that cameo.
I think where they really fucked up with Tremor, that kind of put them over the edge because they changed a bunch of things at once, right? But it was the speed at which he changes variations. They just overtuned that, and that's what makes him kind of so broken shit right now. I don't want to say broke. I'm being, facetious, but man.
I mean, within the context of the game,
if they tweak that,
that's what I would want. I would want the cooldown to be nerfed pretty substantially. Well, not substantially. I don't want to kill it, right?
Not the cooldown, right? Like when they use the ambush just to change variations, and that's how they're body blocking and they're getting their stuff out like way easier when they do turn it to an ambush. It comes out like way faster. And all of that. So if there's like some sweet spot in the middle from how it used to be to like where they put it now, that might even be enough to level him out and let him keep the cooldowns. They already took the health or 50 health away, right? He's a 50 health cameo now instead of 100.
Yep. So, and I don't think that was enough. I think I don't know. He's still all over the place. You still see him every tournament. He's the number one cameo being used.
By a long shot, not even just
close.
like barely. Yeah.
So
like he has the most, and they can only really count stream matches, right? But you can kind of like infer it's not like objective data or whatever, but it's like the amount of times you see him on stream is like more than the next, 4 or 5 cameos combined, and that includes a shitload of Movado. So Movado's always telling him, and then that's just drops down to like single digits for everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with Movado, if they revert him back to taking 100 health.
We've seen it happen before, right? What happens every single time they take 50 health off of a character's life bar? Like Johnny or Peacemaker. Or they do it to the cameo. People do not like that at all. That is like a surefire way to get anyone to stop using anything, is start fucking with the health bar. And I think we've seen that over and over again in this game.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be one way to do it.
Because that's what he originally took, was 100 health. And
hey, high risk, high reward.
Yeah. You want to.
Yeah, I mean, and then nobody used him, right? And it's not like he's been super buff since then, right? People started using him because he doesn't take away the health and stuff anymore. So he just go back to kind of like launch Movado if they took the health away. I mean, they've done a bunch of scaling and stuff. They've done some like nerfs and things like that, and you can still see how usable people just accept that sort of stuff, right? Because of like what he brings. But you start messing with the health bar, it's going to be crickets for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's weird that like, they'll take those types of nerfs, but as soon as you mess with the health, it's like, nope, sorry, I'm out. We'll see later.
I mean, the health is what the goal of playing a fighting game is, to get their health down to 0 before yours reaches 0, right? Like at the end of the day. And so the more you have, that's one more interaction, one more throw, one more, whatever it may be.
Yeah, you think of all the times that you're down to like last hit, last round kind of thing. And, that couldn't have been the case if you had that much health. So.
Right.
We've learned a lot about cameos this week, though. We were talking in the Discord. about that. And there was it the Scorpion Hellfire one that was interesting to me? That like, I believe if it hits the opponent's Kameo, it takes half of their Kameo bar in addition to putting them on cooldown. I had no idea that was even a thing. I don't know if they added that.
No, I felt like I hadn't seen that, and we were kind of talking about it in the Discord, but I was working, and so after work, that was the first time I've touched Mortal Kombat like in a while, but I kind of wanted to. I'm thinking to myself, because it's slow, right? It's off his regular like fire breath, the fully held one, so he's got to use the whole meter, but it's got the unblockable fire sort of thing. But as I said, I was like, okay, so it's got to work for something like Kia's Blades, right? Because you can like try to jump out of that or poke out of that. He's got to have time for it, and he does have time for it. But as I was like going to clip that to put that in the Discord, I was like, wait, I've seen this before. It was definitely like Twitter tech, or I saw it on YouTube. I wish I remember the source to like give them credit. But I had, that like shook a memory in my brain, shook it loose. So I feel like I had heard of it before, but you just never see it. And dude, it's so slow, and that's got to be like so situational. I like the idea behind it, right? So say Serena does do Kia's Blades, that takes a half a bar of Kameo, and if you hit her with that, that puts her on full cooldown. So no Kameo gauge at all. Plus, it has a 7-second cooldown or something. It said before. This discussion started because of that Google sheet. Who made that Google sheet with all the Kameo info?
So that's right.
Maybe you can look that up and edit that in later. Put something up on the screen and put that in the description or whatever. And it had like a special note about that Scorpion Kameo move, and I was like, wait a second, is that really a thing?
Yeah.
But
what a concept.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just I always find it cool when like we're almost 2 years into the game and we're still finding things out about the game, and especially something like that's like hiding in plain sight, right? Like it's right there. Something crazy.
And I like the idea of it, right? He uses the whole bar, but she's already used a half, and then she gets hit by it, and so she's all the way down, and now they both have no, so it just takes Kameos out of the equation, right? Just mono e mono, or Chica e Chica.
Yeah.
No Kameos. Just take Kameos out of the game. It's just too slow to like set up consistently. I think it's a little bit too situational, and maybe it's supposed to be that way. I don't think it works broadly in this game and how the meta's played and stuff. But I love the idea of it. I just think it could be implemented better.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit too niche for me. Then it has to hit the opponent's Kameo as well. But I don't see how it would work otherwise. So I mean, that's it. Like you said, love the idea. Maybe in practice not as feasible, but there's a couple other things I learned from Crazy Psycho as well about Shujinko that I put into that 5 things you didn't know about Shujinko video I did yesterday with the bone dome, like causing the Li-Mei's lantern to like be sucked down into it as a launcher. That's so weird to me.
Right.
Like the mechanics of that make no sense. I don't understand why that's a thing. I don't believe that's.
I wonder if it has something to do with because your other projectiles. So like when you're playing, say, Quan versus Quan, and you use the Shujinko Bone Dome, I guess you just always combo into that, right? That's part of like your
just extension. You don't really use it outside of that, or at least I haven't.
So you're not like doing like a projectile, right? Have you tested other projectile reactions?
I haven't, no, but I'm kind of curious now after that to see if that's the only one that does that. Because like,
I mean, I wonder if that's what happens on the outside is what's keeping it like when if you shoot a projectile from the inside of that thing, right? It's not going anywhere.
Right. It gets like. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Because so
whatever's happening on the outside of the cage is having some sort of inverse reaction or whatever. But But we're talking about the Shujinko version of the Bone Dome, right? And can you jump out of that cage, or is that just pure hit stun?
I don't really use it on block, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna have to go and lab that. That's something interesting I can look into.
Or like Oki or something.
Yeah. Kind of keep them in there and see what other kind of funky iterations I can think of. Shujinko's just such a freaking Swiss Army knife, man. Just does so many things. What a freaking awesome cameo. And the other one was that the Ashra stuff with the debuffs, and he steals the light, or the light moves remove your debuff and do like 20 or 19 more damage. Like, I had no idea that was a thing. That doesn't feel intentional at all.
That's unscaled damage. I'm pretty sure it is for Ashra anyway. So yeah, if she debuffs you and you use a Shujinko steal against her, the DP or the projectile, right? It takes one of your debuffs off and gives you the damage boost.
That's crazy.
That seems like the programming for the move is just looking for not who the debuff's on, just that the debuff exists.
Right.
That does not seem intended.
No, it does not seem intended at all. But now it's out in the world, so we'll see if NRS addresses it. I will definitely be keeping my eye on that to see, if there are those couple different changes that they do, if that's something that gets addressed or not. Because, yeah, and then the last one, the Johnny star power with the rising star still giving him meter, that also feels quite unintentional. Like they unprogrammed the other two moves, but forgot about that one.
Right. Oh, do the other ones generate star power for him?
No, the only one that does is the rising star. So he has the...
I mean, of his own kit. Like, if he does his version of it, does that give him star power?
I wish I knew how Johnny Cage worked in that aspect. I would assume so,
Yeah.
if Shujinko gives it to him. So
I thought he had to charge all of his star power. That is just so weird that, yeah, when you use the Shujinko uppercut thing,
just
that his gauge goes up. So you could give him full star power. Like the next play, it just makes your life that much harder.
Yeah, imagine filling his hype meter by accident just because he wanted to do a launcher, and then he's like, oh, he's got hype now. Great. Fantastic. Love that for Johnny Cage. He needs more buffs. Or something, I don't know. But, yeah, the things that we find out after this game's already been released for a while, so... We'll see. If you guys out there know of any cool Kameo things that we don't know about, put them in the comments because I'd love to talk about them. But I think that's going to be it for us for another week. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.